Hey, ICC friends. Welcome to the Ice Cream Convos Podcast, where we serve delicious scoops of entertainment and celebrity news. I am your host, Xaviera.
And I'm your co-host, Karla.
And I am so excited to be back. Karla,
Yes.
we ain't been here in a minute.
Girl, I feel like, how long? Nah, we ain't even going to get into how long this is.
Nah, we're not going to do that. We are not going to get into how long it has been since we have been on the podcast. But I will tell you this. So much has happened since the last time you and I came together to record a new episode of the Ice Cream Convos Podcast. For those of you who may not be familiar with the Ice Cream Convos Podcast, this is where we serve delicious scoops of entertainment and celebrity news. So you can visit icecreamconvos.com daily to get your delicious scoops of entertainment and celebrity news. You can follow us on social media. We are on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Well, no, we're not on Twitter because Twitter didn't want to give me a handle. So I'm a
Jack Dorsey. Just Google Ice Cream Combos. I guarantee you.
Jack Dorsey is on site. It's on site, Jack Dorsey. He would not give me the handle that I wanted. He gave me everything but Ice Cream Convos Podcast. So the first thing that I want you to do is to share this live with a friend. Let them know. Good googly muggly. Ice Cream Convos is finally back. And then the next thing I want you to do after sharing with a friend is let us know where you are checking in from. Where are you checking in from? Where are you listening to us from on this beautiful evening? Okay. So with that being said, Karla, we have so much ground to cover. Let's start with an update.
Okay.
So during the time that we have not been on the air, a lot has transpired in my life. And for one being, I got sick as a dog. And I got super sick, and I went back and forth about whether or not I would talk about this or discuss this. But y'all, I had the vids. I got COVID. Yes, I got COVID. And it is something that I probably will never forget for the rest of my natural black ass life. It began with my husband. First, my husband got it. Hold on, I feel like this microphone is really loud. So first my husband got it. And while I was caring for him, then I got sick while I was caring for him. And you know, usually the duration is like a 2-week period. Right. You know, you going through it, quarantining and so on and so forth. Right. In the second week, I got sick. So mind you, I'm still caring for him who is going into his second week and I'm sick. But the thing is, I got misdiagnosed. And that's the only reason why I'm sharing this, because typically I'm a very private person, and I got very, very upset and offended when the word got out amongst my family members that I had COVID. But anyway, so the thing is, I got misdiagnosed and I was experiencing all these different symptoms. Of course, I never lost my sense of smell. I never lost my sense of taste. It was just like, it was almost like the same symptoms I would have if I had like an upper respiratory infection or a sinus infection. And, you know, I was calling you, you know, I was like, Karla, I don't know.
I'm that was kind of scary. It was. I'm like, now I'm sitting here because it's like, you here. Like you was, but it happened to me. It happened so fast. Like 1 minute it was like, all right, I don't feel good. And then the next minute you were calling me saying you were on your way to urgent care. So it was.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you guys. If you have 2 symptoms, I don't care if you know, go through the list of COVID symptoms. If you have 2 of them, then damn it, you got COVID. Like, just call it. I'd
rather be safe than sorry. Yeah, that's a good message.
Call it.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Excuse me. So y'all have to excuse me if I have the ins or anything of that nature. I am just getting to the point where I'm not breathing heavy or like intermittently coughing. So that is another reason why I did not want to come on the air, because who want to listen to that? Number one. Number 2, I ain't want to give myself up because I wasn't sure if I was actually going to share. But so I went and got tested. Thank you, bestie. So when I went and got tested, the lady came back and she was like, "No, you don't have COVID." And I'm like, "Okay, but I had everything but the sense of the loss of taste. The loss of smell, and I think I didn't have diarrhea. I wasn't vomiting, but I had the chills." I had the chills. I had I think the chills was just the worst part of it all for me, because at that point in time I just had the chills, and when I would take Tylenol and get the fever and chills, I had fever and chills. So when I would take the Tylenol and get the fever to crack or to break, I felt fine. Right. So I was like, okay, well then maybe it's not, because in my head I'm like, if you got COVID, you just got COVID. Like that's it. Ain't nothing gonna break it, nothing. Right. So when I went and I got tested, they came back, they were like, no, you're negative. So I'm like, oh, what in the hell? What kind of cooties do I have? So, I went ahead and just started pushing a lot of different holistic stuff, vitamin D, vitamin C, sambuca, echinacea, you name it, a sha. If it ends in a sha, I done took it. Okay. I took it. So I was doing all of that. And then I went another full week with, child, I'm sick as a dog, but I don't have a vids, so I'm still gonna make it. Right. And then it wasn't until that Sunday morning I woke up and I got in the shower and I was like, I can't take a breath. Like I can't take a deep breath. Went into a panic. Got dressed, got showered, because you gotta watch that seam in case you get hospitalized. You don't want to go in there without a fresh booty. You know what I'm feeling? So I went ahead and finished my shower. I'm so mad at you right now. No, that's facts though. No facts. I gotta have them clean drawers on. I gotta have a fresh Ruta and a Tuda.
As long as you are conscious, make sure you tap.
Okay. So I gotta have that seam clean, and then I went downstairs and I looked at my husband. I was like, "Can you please take me to urgent care?" And he was like, "Why?" And I was like, "I feel like I can't breathe." Yo, he looked like he had saw Jesus, Casey, JoJo, Mary, Devontae, and Mr. Dalvin standing up in our living room. So he grabbed me, he puts me in the car, he takes me to urgent care, and then of course I tested positive. Right. But I was so angry because that false negative could have cost me my life.
Absolutely.
And you know what I'm saying?
Yep. And that's the tricky part. Like, we don't realize that, like, tests, especially like that, they're not 100%. Like, you get false positives and false negatives. Like, there's some people that get false positives also.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I guess
that's scary though.
It is. And so at that point, I'm now to the point where it's impacting my lungs. Right. So then I had to come home. I had to do inhalers, and I had to take all this stuff for my chest and my lungs, steroids, all of that. Yeah. And I had to take a double dose of a antibacterial, child. What is it called? Antibiotic.
Okay.
And when I tell you that thing hit me so hard, now I'm throwing up. Now I done checked off everything on the list except my smell and my taste. And hallelujah, thank God for Jesus for that, because listen, I maintained this gut. God is good all the time, ain't it? I maintained this gut. But no, I did lose some weight. I did lose some weight throughout the process. But
yeah, of course.
It was rough. The first week was rough because I was still literally pushing through. Like, oh, I just got some type of bug and I'm still pushing through and taking care of my family, cooking dinner, all type of things that could have put everybody at risk, right? Yeah. In this house anyway. Because when I go out, I'm masked up irregardless. Right. Of course. It was just such an experience for me. And, now it hits different. Like when I'm watching those commercials and people talk about different things in their experience, now it hits different because I've experienced it. Right. So it definitely was something that I don't ever have to go through ever again. So now I'm in the antibody gang. So, I'm in the antibodies gang, and, I see that our friend Xaviera, she says, I literally tested positive an hour ago. I lost my sense of smell and taste. Xaviera Rose, we are sending prayers to recovery. You. Yes. Absolutely. We are wishing you a speedy recovery. We are sending much love to you. Karla, I'm sorry. I keep cutting you off, girl. I'm hyped,
No, you're fine. Listen, you're fine. I'm so proud of you, because I feel like your story needed to be told. Your story, especially, 2 reasons: the false test, and then also a lot of the symptoms that you had or did not have. And that just, to me, that's a lesson I felt like you should, because that's how we learn about this virus, is people telling what their symptoms are. Where do y'all think they get the list of symptoms and signs? People saying, "Hey, this is how I felt."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
I felt like it was important, and I'm happy you told. Girl, I'm happy you here.
I'm gonna cry in the car.
I was like, oh my gosh. When you told me they sent you home with a CPAC, I'm like, That's when I called you. Like I probably called you what, like 6 o'clock.
Yeah, that's fine. Listen, my bestie was calling me around the clock, and I was so happy to hear from her and talk to her. But it did get to a point where I could barely talk. It was like,
yeah.
So yeah, it was bad. And then even after the 14-day period, it took me a while to get to the point where I could get my breath back going up and down the stairs. Mind you, I'm taking care of my grandbaby full time. Thank God for Jesus that she wasn't, infected, because she lays up underneath me. You know, so I'm
shows you how strong the immune system is. And God first. He creates the immune system. So,
so I'm caring for her around the clock. I'm having to carry her back and forth up down the stairs. I get upstairs and I'm winded because, at night when I take her upstairs, we do prayers. I'm talking about
so sweet.
I lay me
down you know what?
to sleep. She looking at me like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I pray the Lord to keep. She like, girl, maybe we should just do this tomorrow.
We might want to run this.
Absolutely.
That is so funny, but the caregiver they always have a saying, the caregiver always gets it last and gets it the worst. And if you think about it, it makes sense because you're caregiving. We caregive all year long, but when someone's sick, you're doing that much more caregiving, right?
Absolutely.
So then you get sick, you still caregiving and that's what you were doing. You were, so then now your body has taken a true hit. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell y'all something. The way I'm set up right now, if I sneeze 3 times in a row, I'm quarantining for 5 days, and y'all can kiss my hands. I'm out. I'm out. Kiss the game goodbye, like Jada. I'm out. I'm quarantining for 5 days. Don't nobody call me, bother me, text me, come see me. No, nothing. I am down. I'm not playing with these doctors anymore. I'm not doing it. So, with that being said, I just want to send prayers to everyone who is battling COVID at this time, or you have it, or you have a loved one who is going through it. Again, we're sending up our prayers for our friend Tiara Rose. And I'm telling you right now is the time to try to build your immune system. I have taken every pill known to man that is a vitamin. I was doing vitamin D drops under my tongue. I was doing it all, Chuck.
I know that's right.
So, I'm still here. Thank God for Jesus. I am still here. And I am so grateful and so excited to be back on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So, Karla, what you been doing while I was at the crossroads shadow boxing Uncle Charles?
And listen, look, the usual, but as you know, last month was Autism Awareness Month. So just between like getting things out and attending like virtual events, and that literally was my life last month. So I honestly, it ain't nothing popping. I don't have anything exciting, but because
I'm going to interject with that. I am going to interject with that. I just want to give you your flowers, okay? You may want to put them in a room for 14 days just in case to be on the safe side. But I just want to give you your flowers. Thank you, Cook. Cook says she's so glad to see us both. So I want to give you your flowers because last month was Autism Awareness Month. And you provided so much information, so much vital and amazing information that I was repurposing and sharing on the Ice Cream Convos page.
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and what a lot of people don't know is that Karla is an autism advocate, and she is now helping other parents who have children who are on the spectrum, who may not know where to turn, who may not know who to talk to, or they may have questions about how to raise and deal with a child who is on the spectrum. So, Karla, you are out here doing the King's work, and I definitely want to salute you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And you support. You be right there with me. All the way. I love you for it. I thank you so much. Honestly.
And we have something really good coming down the pipe with that a little later. I don't want to be all premature. Look, that's what you be all. That's what you be like. I don't want to prematurely ejaculate that information.
No,
So we gonna keep that information under wraps for right now. But also this month is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Karla is also sharing some very great information about mental health awareness. So Karla, before everything is said and done, I want you to make sure you give out your social media handles because you are sharing a lot of great information. Okay. All right, guys. Well, it's time for us to go ahead and get into this week's topics. The first thing I want to talk about, because I feel like it's only right, is for us to catch up on everything we missed.
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a whole lot.
It has been.
We got to play catch up. Definitely.
All right, so let's go ahead and play catch up. First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Rest in peace, DMX. Rest in peace, Black Rob. Rest in peace, Shock G. I am completely
I feel like it was so many.
Blown away by all of the legendary people who have passed in such a short period of a time. Karla, where were you when you found out the news about DMX?
Oh my gosh, where was I at? Oh, I was at home. I literally was at home, and it came across like something I can't even remember. And I just kind of like, I told you, I cried. Not right then. I was shocked. I was kind of like in denial, I think, at first. Yeah. But then like that night, I cried like it was somebody in my family. I called you. I was like, Bestie, why was I crying like a baby? Like, I don't understand. Because I've had a lot of like, it's been a lot of celebrity deaths, and I've been a fan of a lot of them, but I didn't understand. And you were like, cuz he resonated with you, like with everybody. You know, he was really genuine. Did. Yeah. So where were you at?
Oh man, well, you know, of course I was home. I was online, I was working. But you know, the thing about DMX's passing that bothered me the most was the way that it was handled. You know, just with this social media, and I know social media is the gift and the curse.
Oh yeah.
And some days I can't decide which way it's leaning a little bit more. You know,
be quiet on that one.
Okay. So, you know, we heard that DMX went into cardiac arrest. Of course, there were the initial report was that he overdosed,
right?
And the overdose triggered cardiac arrest. And then it was like, I really want all of us to get to the point where we do not forward or transfer information unless it comes directly from the family.
Yes,
I really feel that's necessary because
Absolutely.
There was so much confusion. And I think
horrible.
Absolutely. And I think by the time he actually passed, I was mad. I think I was more mad. And then I had to go through, I guess, the different stages of loss. You know, I was mad about the way that it had been handled with all the reports. I mean, people were RIPing him, and celebrities at that. So many people I lost respect for throughout that entire process with DMX.
Yes, for real.
And then it's always tough when, and I'm pretty sure you can speak to this as well, it's always tough when it's a celebrity who passes away, but it's not an immediate death. It's he's on life support, or he's in ICU or whatever, because that window of time from the time we find out that that person is in the hospital until the Lord actually calls them home, whoo, child, the ghetto. I was like, earth is ghetto, I wanna leave. I'm like, this is so ghetto.
I'm not laughing at it, but just you sing like, if you killed me. Yeah, but that's the...
I know, I'm sorry. You know I can't act right ever.
I know.
You know, and it was just one of those things, like, you had Claudia Jordan jumping out the window, or rest in peace.
Yes.
You had Lunel. And then the thing was, when people told Lunel, like, yo, you wrong, like, he's still here, why are you posting this? Lunel, instead of being like, you know what, let me back up off of this and sit my cup down, let me delete this, let me chill, she was like, and she basically doubled down and was like, in the particular condition that he's in, he already gone.
Yeah, but who are you? That really bothered me. That's wrong. That was so wrong. Instead of just taking it on the I'm wrong, I was wrong, I apologize. He has a family. He
has a family, and he has a bunch of beautiful children.
Yes.
And
yes.
I just, I think sometimes we forget to treat things as if we are walking in those shoes. And I know Lunel built different. Lunel is the type that if it had been her, she would want her family to be like, child, she already gone. But that's not the case for everybody. That's
right,
just you.
Exactly.
That is just you.
Yeah, that was in bad taste, I felt like.
It really, really was. So, and then here comes Irv Gotti after the fact. It's always one, ain't it? It's always one who want to be I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to keep it cute. I'm trying my best.
That's what happens, right?
And I'm trying to choose
know what you really
words.
want to say. Yeah, like it's always. Did you expect it to be him now? I knew it was going to be somebody with some foolishness. But did you?
That's a great question. Did you think it was going to be Irv?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be Irv, only because Irv had such a close relationship with DMX. Now, based off of his track record of running his mouth,
Right.
Absolutely, Irv. Absolutely, Irv.
Yeah.
And then my thing was, and this is a conversation I know you and I had off the air, but you made such a great point. Irv Gotti, in case you missed it, guys, Irv Gotti got on a radio interview that was held on Instagram, and he said that DMX overdosed on crack laced with fentanyl.
Yes.
And the first thing out of your mouth, see, the thing that I love you for is that you will start saying things that make me be like, hold on, sis, hold on. Karla, let me just preface this by saying Karla is one of the smartest people I know. No. We're going to do it today. You might be right. You are, without a doubt, one of the smartest people I know. And I am willing to bet if I had one life left, and they said, you got a lifeline, you got to call somebody, I'm going to say, call Karla. Call Karla. Because I'm telling you, are so...
I appreciate it.
You absolutely are.
That's pressure, too. That's pressure.
Oh, that's what it was. Live with it. There for you. Just live with it. This girl knows. And I think it's because you are very observant. You educate yourself on things you educate yourself.
I just read. I try to read.
You read a lot. You educate yourself on a lot.
And thank you.
Because of you being in so many different fields and having so much experience, like in healthcare, that's why, y'all, I could get a bump in a weird place. I'm calling Karla like, okay, so I'm gonna send you this picture, be in the bathroom like,
I gotta be
she was like, oh girl, that's a hair bump. Like, oh, okay, God, I thought I was gonna have to go to the clinic, but she is my doctor. She is my, and y'all remember Encyclopedia Britannica? No, she is the human Encyclopedia Britannica.
Remember?
But Britannica.
Yes.
Shout out to all the rich people who could afford the Britannica.
Okay. And not just a couple volumes. Okay. Shout out to everybody that had A through F.
Okay. A through F, because we couldn't get the Z, but A through F would get you through some of them semesters. Okay. Right? But just with that being said, Karla just has so much knowledge from just knowing certain people and certain walks of life from experience. So I called Karla and I'm like, Irv Gotti had the nerve to say DMX overdosed on crack laced with fentanyl. You was like, first of all, ain't that much crack on the street right now.
I'm just saying, somebody please let me know. Like, I don't want it. But real talk, like anybody that's kind of got their ear to the street, I'm going to say like last 5 years, maybe 10. I know up top anyway, right? Mm-hmm. It's the hardest thing in the world to find. Not saying I'm looking for it, but I know, like you said, different people in walks of life. And most people now, that's why I think the heroin is so big now, because it's cheaper and it's, and that's what I was told. Cause I asked somebody like, wait a minute, what's going on? Like, why down the crackheads don't want to do no work? All I see them doing is leaning, stuck in one position. Girl, no jokes, all jokes aside, like I've seen somebody stand in line and they leaned all the way back, never fell and hit their head.
What?
And got right back up. Like they just, it's, so you got, crack is energetic. So you go, so I asked the question. So I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I hate talking about it, but I'm like 80% sure it probably was some type of heroin.
But you know what else bothered me was the fact that when people jump out the window and speak as if they are there.
We wasn't there. That's why,
you're speaking and you're saying it with such confidence as if a toxicology report came back, my brother.
Exactly.
You're speaking with so much confidence on something that is so...
You gave it to him. You know what I'm saying?
That's like you gave it to him. Like you scored for him and you gave it to him.
Yeah.
And then, after people started dragging him, I mean, he got dragged bad.
Oh, he did bad. I
almost had to turn the comments off on my site because he got dragged bad.
And you talk about turning the comments off, you know it's serious.
Yes, he turned his own comments off. I was about to turn mine off because of him. And, he got dragged really bad. And I mean, even other celebrities were blasting him. And, usually that don't happen too often. Yeah, absolutely. He deserved it. But so then he issues an apology. And I felt like the apology was almost as insulting as what he initially said. Because then Irv Gotti admitted that he was only repeating what he read on blogs.
Which is so ignorant.
You were repeating what you read on a blog. So imagine, God forbid, something terrible happens to me. And Karla, as my best friend, just start telling you everything about me that she read on a blog. Not that she knows firsthand from speaking to my husband, speaking to my relatives, speaking to my family. She's going to tell you what she read on such and such.com.
Yeah.
on Instagram.
It's sickening.
How disrespectful to the family, to Shira, Desiree, his children, Swiss Beats, everybody who genuinely loved this man.
Exactly.
So,
his fans, everyone.
So I felt like, bro, you probably should have kept that little apology to yourself.
I'm even upset that he because at the end of the day, the final, I get it that we can't hide that DMX, but we knew DMX was a drug addict. Sometimes I hate too that the overdose got out there. I'm gonna be honest with you, because that kind of leaves a legacy. Like, he'll always be known, and we've seen other artists like that.
Kurt Cobain, even.
Yeah.
Well, Kurt Cobain was suicide, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. He was suicide.
But it's still the fact that. But not even that. No, to your point, it's still how the person can have such an amazing talent, legacy, but they're always tied to the way they died.
Absolutely. And it's sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad, because DMX, he had his issues, but it's like the fact that we know he's an addict. I thought we could have did better. I felt like a lot of the blogs could have did better with their titles and their headline. Like, it was messy. It was a little messy.
Yeah, absolutely. LaCrystal chimed in to say, if you're reading it and not witnessing it, keep your mouth.
Yes, I love that.
Keep your mouth closed. Yeah, absolutely, definitely. Sarah said, DMX was an influential man. He loved God. You may have to start reading the comments, because apparently my mouth don't want to work with me tonight. But yeah, absolutely, Sarah. Yes. I agree 1,000%. Just really quickly before we take our first break, Black Rob. I think Black Rob's story hurt. Like, it hurt. Losing DMX hurt, but Black Rob, it was just something so pitiful and so sad about the way Black Rob passed away. And I wanted to, he said he suffered 4 strokes. He had some type of kidney disease. He had lupus, from my understanding. He had a plethora of health conditions.
Yeah.
But even on top of that, it almost felt like, when we stopped saying, I had this bad chick uptown, she was, we just threw him away.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we talk about that all the time. Me and you have that personal conversation all the time. You watch, rock bands. They could be 80 years old, and right now, if they want to get a sold out show, they can get it.
They could be
half dead. They have to have an album, huh?
They could be half dead. You could prop them up like Weekend at Bernie's, and they'll still sell out an arena.
Exactly.
Ozzy be like, you got the little puppet, like, get him, Oz. And they still selling out arenas.
Exactly. No, seriously. Yep.
We throw our people away the minute that they stop charting.
Yeah, there it is. Yep. Wow. You just gave me a different perspective, because I was always like, when they stop charting at this point.
When they stop charting. And, I think, you never know what's going to happen with your body. I'm just going to say that. A lot of times we can eat the healthiest food. We can never pick up a cigarette. Yeah. We can never this and we can never that. You can never pick up a cigarette and end up with some type of cancer and pass away. But in Rob's situation, it hurt even more, because in his final days, that one video where he said, I'm just so tired. I'm in so much pain. I'm so tired. He didn't even have a stable place to live.
That hurts my heart.
He was homeless. He didn't have a stable place to live. They had a GoFundMe, to raise money. And we talked about this before, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time on it or harp on it. But we talked about before how certain people end up with GoFundMes when one person can say, yo, take care of that. Okay, bye. Yep. And it could be over and done with.
Yep.
Like, Black Rob's GoFundMe didn't even reach the goal. That's how abandoned he was. When one person could have wiped the whole thing out. But again, I'm not going to tell somebody how to spend their money. I'm not going to place blame on
but
people.
You know what? That being said, if you don't, all right, let's say, we can't tell people how to spend their money. But what you can do with that money is, why not start some type of program where retired hip hop artists health benefit, like, you got to start from somewhere, because we see this all the time.
Karla, how many of I was going to try to get to a break, but I need to address this before I even get into this. Rest in peace to Shock G of Digital Underground. Man. The man was brilliant.
Another legend.
He was a producer. He had the idea of a hip hop band. Like, it was Digital Underground before it was the Roots.
Yes. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he had the idea of a band. If you go back and listen to Digital Underground, that was instrumentation. That wasn't a beat. No,
right.
we had
or 808.
do what you like.
Yes.
You know, that's instrumentation. And
absolutely.
you know, he passed away in a hotel room. Karla, just take a second to think about this. How many of our hip hop legends, and I know that's something, are legends, how many of them just die of natural causes in old age?
Oh, wow. You know, that's a really, really good question. I got to think about that one.
I mean, it is rare. I mean, all of the Fat Boys.
I'm really thinking.
You think about the Fat Boys, it was like heart attacks and all that. Heavy D, blood clot.
Yeah.
You know, it's
we got a Snoop. Like Snoop ain't that old, but I'm trying to think. I'm saying that's where we're at. Like when we think of legends like that, they're like in their 40s and 50s. Mm-hmm. You can't really go past. Wow, I never thought about that.
Yes. And, you know, and I had a conversation with Sarah. Sarah is like our unofficial producer of the Ice Cream Convos Podcast. But I had a conversation with her and I said, Sarah, why does it seem like all of our hip hop legends are dying as a result of poor health? Either that or something tragic, you know, dying. And I said, do you think it's because in their heyday, like they was just going so hard in the paint with the sex, drugs, and rock and roll?
Yeah.
And
rock
then,
and roll. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. But not even that. But then after the heyday is gone, right? You done drank yourself into cirrhosis of the liver. You done coked yourself into a bad heart. You done all this different stuff. But
they had long-term effects.
The long-term effects. But now as a retired rapper, you don't have health benefits, you don't have a union, you don't, like, you going down to the clinic. I remember there was members of a hot R&B group that was in the WIC office. One of the members was in the WIC office with his baby mama.
But you know what? Because there's where are the benefits? Is there a benefit? That's my question.
It's not.
And that's
these
the labels don't. They don't. But see, that's where the ones that could just hand out the money could hand the money out to start something. Like something has to be done.
There has to, and I think Jadakiss even called for it. There has to be some type of union or some type of at least make a Shady Pines for rappers.
The NBA did it, you know, try to follow their blueprint.
I mean, listen, worst case scenario, make a Shady Pines for rappers. Somewhere where they can go in their later days and
why they gotta be institutionalized?
No, that's Shady Pines. No, it can be a community. It can be a community.
Oh, all right. You know what?
We're not going to institutionalize it.
Home. All right, we thinking.
No. We're going to create.
When you put shade. All right,
okay, maybe not Shady Pines. Okay, like, but you know, like for instance,
I
like
got you.
Just some type of
like you said, a community. Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Within 10 miles of my house, within 10 miles, a 10-mile radius.
That's a good idea, though, actually.
In every single direction, they are building senior communities.
Yeah, they are. Why not have one for that? That's true.
Somewhere where they can live and not worry about keeping a roof over their heads. Somewhere where they can get health benefits, where they can be seen by a doctor, where they can get diabetes treatment if necessary.
I feel like I've heard this in some industry. I feel like this is in place somewhere. I don't know if it's in sports somewhere. No, it's definitely not. Ain't nothing in place. Listen,
no, it ain't.
But that sounds so. That's a great idea, though. It really is. It is.
Yeah,
they gotta do something.
We gotta take care of these rappers outside of just jamming and dancing with them.
Yeah, and you know what? I just try to kind of look around. It's like, because I this oldest rapper, hip hop legend stuff is on my mind alive. Girl, why? What I can find is Ice-T, and do we technically call Ice-T a rapper? So I guess that's who. I'm not saying he's the oldest, but that's who keeps coming up. So I'm.
But think about it. That's why we have so many people in hip hop trying to get healthy. That's why Dr. Dre looked like an Avenger. Yeah. That is why LL Cool J looked like he in one of the in the Justice League. Yes. Like, you know, and remember the time Timberland got real. I mean, you know, sometimes it's hard for us to maintain it, but, you know, much love and Chavez to him.
But then, you know what? Also, I have to remember, we have to keep in mind the hip hop industry is dominated by men, and men are always, that's why our healthcare costs so much, because men don't go until it's too late. So that's tricky too, because you're asking a group of like an industry that's dominated to care about healthcare now, to be proactive instead of
Reactive.
All right, now let's get money together because they're on life, they're on life support or there. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think this is a good place to take a break. And then when we come back, I want to get into some other stuff because there's a lot going on. I made my little notes. Let me look at my little notey notes and see what I got here. Because we got some really good stuff going on here. Oh, I'm sorry. I put my phone in airplane mode. But let's go ahead and take a break. If you are watching, now's the time to go to the bathroom, get your water, do whatever you need to do. And we'll be right back in a few minutes. All right, Karla. I'm going to get my little water. I think at one point in time I was hearing a little echo. Could you hear an echo of me?
No,
I was hearing an echo of me, but it's not. I don't hear it now. It just came in momentarily and then it dropped back out.
The headphones, because I think that's why we got them in the first place. We got it that or the over talking it was something.
Okay, no problem. No worries.
I'm like,
all right. You don't have your water with you tonight?
Oh yeah, let me get a shot. I'm like, before I get in the middle and then it be dry. My mouth be dry.
Then you be choking on air.
Girl, and that'd be the worst. I'll be having one that I can't stop.
Thank you to everyone who is watching live with us. It is so much fun to be on live, and thank you. And just shout out to She Knew. She is I hope it's a she. She is really checking in with some good commentary. She said, "Yes, shout out to Styles P for trying to make healthy living cool. He's opening juice bars and pushing healthy living to the forefront." Yes, he absolutely is. So, shout out to you and shout out to Styles P.
Yes.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
All right. Okay, we are back. All right, ICC friends. So, speaking of DMX, I do want to make sure I mention one more thing. His new album, Exodus, will be dropping on May 28th. Okay. So, if you have been following him after Verzuz, he got really, really serious on his grind about putting together a new project. So, it's going to be really, really sad just to hear this project because now it's going to be looked at as his last verses, his last songs, his last words, his last everything. So, I'm really looking forward to it, even though I know it's going to be bittersweet once we get it.
Yeah.
All right, Karla, did you go down to the SWV Xscape verse? Did you go down to the thing?
Look, I went down to the thing, right? But I was already tired before I went down to the thing.
Okay.
So I got down to the thing, I got sleepy, and I had to come back home. So I got sleepy around when they took, I guess, their first break.
Oh yeah.
After I think when they did the cover of Patti LaBelle, I think SWV. I think it was like right after that. Yes. So that's as far as I got.
Well, child, I went down to the thing for the SWV and the Xscape. I had my, my outfit on, my bamboo earrings and everything.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, what we working with? The first thing that I want to address is Spinderella understood her assignment because when she was on the ones and the twos, Spinderella showed her natural melanated ass. That girl was playing some jitty jams. Unfortunately for DJ A1, he let the world know that he is definitely a local DJ because he stayed in the city limits of his playlist. I was like, if he plays one more ATL joint. Right. But he definitely gave me life because I think he was gone off that Ciroc. And he was doing a lot in the DJ booth.
Oh yeah.
When the ladies came out, I definitely want to say if I had to give it up for just look, I'm going to give that to Xscape.
Yeah, Xscape, I agree.
They was ready for their Olin Mills pictures, baby. Xscape was like, I want the hair, I want the glam, I want the everything. So
they look good.
Yes, they definitely looked absolutely beautiful. And I like how they all had on like their little variations of their black outfits and so on and so forth. So they looked absolutely wonderful. Did you notice that when SWV came out, something was wrong?
Yeah, you could see it. Yeah.
Something was wrong.
Yeah.
Something was wrong.
It was so obvious, but it wasn't obvious, and I know you'll get into it later. I just thought like they didn't want to be there. Especially, I did. They went down to the thing and decided they didn't want to be there. They were sitting on the side, especially when like Xscape was performing. I didn't feel like they were into it. Yeah. But this is before I everything.
Right,
so.
right.
What did you think? Like,
I noticed when they first came out, the first thing that stood out to me when they came out was the delay between Taj getting to the stage and Coco actually coming out. There was a weird delay there, because usually as a group, it's single file. You're one right behind the other. And then Taj got up on, and I'm taking points off for Taj's shorts. Taj got some bomb behind legs, but Taj looked like we was fitting to go down to the mall and see what's popping in Macy's, because they having a friends and family sale. So so again, we're gonna get that to Xscape, but we're not gonna tear down Sisters with Voices, right? So Taj and them shorts though, it just looks so backyard barbecue, child. It just looked like she was like, "Hey, put me another hot dog on the grill."
Block party, right?
Block party. She was giving straight block party. And then Coco came out with the braids, and I really liked the braids. But my first thought was, man, how long did it take to do those braids? Because you know I be braiding Destiny hair now, and it take me 2 days.
It looks beautiful too.
Oh, thank you. So Coco comes out, and the first thing I noticed was the delay in Coco coming out. The second thing I noticed was Coco didn't have a microphone in her hand, and I said, "Do sis plan on singing or talking tonight?" She did not have a microphone in her hand.
I didn't even take notice of that. Okay.
So then when she came out, she sat down, and of course, Xscape was on some "nuck if you buck" type energy.
Yeah.
SWV was like, "We here to fill our contractual obligations."
Yes.
And I'm like, what's
more,
up?
no less. Yeah.
What's up? And then I think the part about Versus that entertained me the most was when SWV was it wasn't even when SWV was performing. It was like when they were playing Xscape songs, right? And everybody was on the bench like, I was like, damn, I ain't never seen no couch dancing this hard. It was like, Xscape was like, this our damn tune. We gonna give y'all energy if we don't give you nothing else. I was like, damn, it's a lot of hard couch dancing going on. And you know, as an expert seated dancer,
I was
I'm
an expert.
I'm an expert seated dancer though, but you know, I try to give you a little wine in the middle.
I was knocking it. I'm ready to say now that's a whole separate type of dancing. You gotta be skilled. You know. Yeah,
but I don't know. They just SWV. I mean, Xscape just wasn't giving it to me with the chair dance, and it was coming across real like club 1:30 in the morning type. I don't know. But then when SWV started doing their songs, Coco wasn't really singing, and with all due respectfully, we all know. And I don't care if y'all get mad, y'all can log off or y'all can come for me on social media. It's all right. But we all know SWV is Coco and friends.
Yeah, true.
And if Coco don't have no damn microphone, and if Coco ain't singing, it ain't no reason for me to be down to the thing. It's no reason for me to be down to the thing.
No, that's true though. That's facts. Like, all jokes aside, that's where I was disappointed. Like, oh, are you serious?
So then, did you hear Lily when she was like, you know, Coco just, she say something like, Coco just don't feel like she can hit the notes. Did you hear when she said that?
No, I missed that too. Girl, I probably was.
Yeah, you probably was already down to the bed. She said Coco didn't feel like she could hit the notes. And I was like, man, so I know JB was so tired of me. And for those of you who are listening for the first time, JB is my husband. And he's also co-editor of icecreamconvos.com. But, I know he was so sick of me because all I did was complain through the whole damn verses. I'm like, and look how they dancing. Look at Tiny's butt. Look at Tasha's shorts. What's wrong with Coco? Like that? Yeah. What's wrong with Coco? Why DJ A1 dancing so hard? Why he can't play nothing outside of Atlanta?
You know how we do. You know how we do.
I think it was because the idea of that verses, if you think about them tunes, right? And I said tunes. When you think about the idea, big tunes, big tunes. When you think about the catalogs between both of those groups, I was supposed to be up in the living room like this all night long. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I was excited.
That's how I was feeling.
But
and then I'm like,
was it not? I'm gonna speak on Tiny a little bit. In a little bit, but Candy was like, okay, but Candy tried to have a showcase, and I love Candy, but Candy was like, y'all gonna know who I wrote for. I wrote songs for TLC.
Yes.
I wrote songs for Destiny's Child.
Yeah. She always does that. She does that all the time too. She does. She'll even throw that NSYNC song up in there sometimes.
Wait, and then she pulled out the Ed Sheeran song. And I'm like, but what's funny was she pulled the Ed Sheeran song, but they didn't know the words. So then they just started going.
Are you serious? See, I was done by then. I was going by then.
I don't like when I go down to the Verzuz thing and people start trying to perform songs they wrote for other people.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? Hold up. Question to you, real quick, because me and Carlos had this discussion. Do you feel like if it's points, because we go round for round, and you know how in a boxing match, you get a low blow or something, they take a point. I feel like when you redo someone else's song in Verzuz, that I feel like you should automatically lose the round.
Okay, I'm going to piggyback off of what you said with that. She knew said, y'all give Candy her flowers or she going to take them. Candy was like,
and she did straight up.
And I'm going to tell you what else kind of annoyed me. And I know y'all going to come for me. I know I sound so nitpicky, but keep in mind, I ain't been on this podcast for a long time. And I want some hot takes. I want y'all to at least be like, listen, Ice Cream Convos was not around for a while, but when they came back, this child was talking crazy. Listen. Candy with her showcase, okay? Just to your point, when you said in a boxing match, when they have a low blow, right? To me, a Verzuz battle is two boxers boxing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ding, ding, ding. It's your turn to come back out and box. And here I am talking about boxing because you wrote this song for me. No, that has nothing to do.
Exactly.
No, you perform your own songs. If you don't have a good song to perform, sit down.
Yeah, tell us what y'all think, because I feel like that honestly shouldn't count. I just feel that way. Because if that's the case, you can have some people get on there and it'll be a mess. Because I even, you know how I feel even about features. I kind of going along with it now. I'm okay with it. But I felt like even features was like,
I mean, I can deal with a feature more than I wrote this song for such and such.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, or doing a cover, because that's what I don't think covers should count. When they did the cover to Patty.
Yep.
They lost that round for me.
Yeah,
automatically.
Absolutely. Especially when I'm waiting on the big tunes. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. And they don't have to, certain people we expect to do covers, right? Because they just have to. They just don't have the type of, but y'all, girl, that just didn't sit with me well. I was kind of mad at that, even though I loved it and I loved the remake. But
there was something else I felt like I needed to address about the Verzuz battle before I get into Coco. I don't know. Xscape, Tiny was gonna have her magical moment, right? Because y'all know Tiny been laying low because of the allegations and things,
right?
And Tiny was like, you know what? I want to remind y'all of why y'all know me in the first place. So Tiny's part came up.
I got that.
And Tiny went ahead and was like, I'm fitting to sing my part. And she went ahead and sang her part. And I said, okay. But I think it was Do You Want To? Where, the rude people in Atlanta was like, do that song. When it was SWV.
I ain't see that. I must have left already.
You was down to the bed.
Yeah.
Well, DJ A1 was being the worst DJ on the planet for Xscape. He was cutting off their songs. He was playing one song, and Tiny actually opens the song, and he skipped her verse. She turned around.
I got to go back and watch it.
Oh, girl. Serious? She turned around and looked at him, and then she turned around and said...
The whole verse? Because,
yes. He skipped her verse. But so Tiny came out. Tiny had her little vocal moment. But it was another... I think it was Do You Want To?
And Tonight, too. She had that... Remember Tonight? The one they sang a cappella on the album?
Okay. I think that's the one where she had her little moment.
Yeah. I know she had a moment there. I definitely know she had a moment there.
So, in Do You Want To? She'd be like, never should have kissed you. She'd kick it off. Never made that call. So I'm at home like, I told myself. That's my damn. All the people I called that I ain't had no business calling. And so then she got to her little part. And then, when she get to, and my emotions are completely come over me. That little part. And then when the Scott sister come in and shut the whole thing down, I think that's where he messed up. He cut the song off.
Serious?
So we all like, hold on. So the people in the audience...
Wait a minute, mother. Yeah.
Wait a minute, mother. So the people in the audience started chanting that he need to start it over and let them do it.
Wow.
Why?
So you got to go back to that.
Why Tiny was looking like, y'all gonna make me do it again. Tiny like, I got one good vocal performance in me tonight. Y'all about to make me do this again. But she went ahead and did it. But she had the same, she didn't prefer the second time like she did the first time. Because she was like, oh, I got to do this again. But anyway, overall, it was something to watch on a Saturday night. And then, just going back, before the Verzuz, Karla and I had a sidebar discussion about who we thought was going to win the Verzuz. And I think I fronted on SWV, didn't I? I fronted on SWV.
Yeah,
and I
said you did. Yeah, and I said SWV just to be, because it was tight. It was hard. It was.
Yeah, when you heard, and the thing is, when they start performing other people's songs and things of that nature, it's really hard to compare the catalogs. Just stick to your stuff so we can really figure out who we felt. But at the end of the day, it just boils down to what you like. But by the time the intermission came, SWV went back. Mm-hmm. They had a hair change, wardrobe change. Taj still came back out in them shorts though. And the energy was totally different. Now they ready to go. They ready to go. So we later found out.
Edibles. You hear me?
The edibles. Yeah. It take a minute for them edibles to kick in. Right. It take a minute for them edibles to kick in. Yeah. But Coco later shared that a woman had been shot outside of her hotel.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And she saw it. She saw the woman in the blood. She said by the time she got to the Verzuz battle, she had a major anxiety attack.
Wow.
And she shared that. And I was like, oh, man. And the thing is, you never know what someone's going through.
That's true. Mm-hmm. That's true. And an anxiety attack and still be able to go out there and sing. Because anxiety attack, an attack, not just, but an attack, you're breathing. Yes. She got herself together and was able to sing that well. Like, hats off to her for that.
So now I have a totally different respect for Coco and her off-put energy in the beginning. But when I went back and watched it after finding out what happened prior to the Verzuz, she first came out and sat down. She was wiping tears. Then at one point, she started doing the shaking foot. When you shake your foot when you're real nervous, she started doing the shaking foot. So I told you, but to the naked eye, it looks like, you know what? I ain't even beefing this shit. I could have been at home.
That's what I thought it was. Because I said to Carlos, look at them. I said, oh, Xscape performing, and Coco, she straight just turned like she over there, like she don't want to be bothered. Like she
kept doing her braids, like just that annoying stuff. Like no, she was literally trying to keep herself under control.
You can't judge automatically. Yeah,
judge, and it hurts my heart to know that she went through that. But at the same time, it shows me what a top-notch professional she is. Absolutely. That she pulled through that and she went through that and she kicked it off, and by the time they got to sometimes it's something.
Oh, my song. That's like one of my favorites.
I was at home like the little boy on the little boy I posted on our Instagram, the one that was doing the Soldier Boy clap challenge where he put the water in the hat. I was pouring water on myself like that jelly touches my soul. Oh, I love that song so much, y'all. Y'all play that at my fume. I know it's gonna be inappropriate, but play it at my fume.
Yeah.
When I'm walking into the heavenly gates, I want y'all to be like, rain down on me, let your lunge shower me. I love that song. Yeah.
Didn't somebody sampled that too? But
yeah. Oh, so good, good, so good. Yeah. By the time we got to that, so shout out to both ladies, because at the end of the night, the ladies won. It wasn't an SWV. It wasn't an Xscape thing. The ladies won. So, just shout out to them. Yeah. J. Cole. Let's talk about Coley Cole. So Coley Cole is coming back on Friday, girl. The off season. His new album is slated to drop on Friday. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you fall as a J. Cole fan?
I would say like a 7.
Okay. I think I'm around there too.
Okay.
I think I'm around there too. I think Friday Night Lights, I'm a smooth 8 or 9. 9, 10. 9, 10.
Yep, 9, 10. Yep.
Yeah, but the last couple projects, I was like, okay, it's cute. I definitely like Crooked Smile.
Oh, yeah.
That's my jam. I think that's and Born Center and all that. So Born Center too, that was my jam. Yeah. So J. Cole is currently in Rwanda. He ain't at the hotel though. Saw what I did right there.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I'll see you.
Thank Thank you. I'm here every week. So he is currently in Rwanda because they're going to have like this huge basketball tournament, 12 teams participating. It's, I think it's like a 2-week event, starts on, I think the 16th maybe, and goes through to the end of the month. And it's like a big, huge deal. It's almost like, I guess their version of like the NBA finals with everybody, with 12 teams in it. Okay. And he's going to reportedly, according to a source, he's going to be playing for the Rwandan team. Now, I say allegedly, reportedly to protect myself, but I already got video of him over there already putting on the jersey.
Oh, for real? Yes. I love it. I love that. There.
Okay, yes, and especially for J. Cole fans who know, like, he wanted to be an NBA star.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he had hoop dreams.
To lose this dream right here, just a different way. And, it's new. And to be a part of something, I think is it new? Is it like a new league?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Like, this is like this. Yeah. It's the inaugural.
And to be part of that, how awesome is that? Mm-hmm. Shout out to J. Cole.
LaCrystal checking in to say she bout a 7 when it comes to J. Cole.
So she knew with us then, LaCrystal. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she about a 7. But I'm like, if you're going to play basketball, play it in the motherland. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, come
and on. Basketball is expanding. It's so international now. It changed the way we even play in the NBA. Absolutely. So I love to see it.
Absolutely. One of the biggest stories that was on the site last week, and I just wanted to go back and talk to you about it because it messed with my spirit so bad, and it made me reconsider my stance on the death penalty.
We had this talk before. You reconsider? You remember us having this conversation before?
Because now that I said it, the moment I saw your face, I was like, yeah, we had this conversation before. Because you have a certain smile where you like, what now? What now? What now?
That wasn't a what now. That wasn't a what now smile. That was I'm glad we're having this conversation again.
I think I need to change my stance on the death penalty. Mm-hmm. I feel like the death penalty should be on a case-by-case basis. And I mean, some people will argue that it is now, but no. I mean, I feel like the death penalty should only be allowed to be enforced when it is a clear, open, and shut case. The person said they did it. They had the knife
video,
in their hand.
We see it on
we
camera.
Saw it on the video. Run the video back. The blood still running down their arm.
I can agree with that.
When we're dealing with a case where there's insufficient evidence, where DNA testing was not completed, when witnesses are recanting or witnesses don't even have a solid story or the person has an alibi and things of that nature, like, it hurts my heart to think about all of the people who are still sitting in jail right now, all of the people who are still sitting on death row, all of the people who have already been executed. Troy Davis. I haven't even gotten over Troy Davis. When you think about all these people who went to their grave, and I say to their grave, but they were executed, still proclaiming their innocence. How in the world can the people behind it, or the people who signed off, or who is it, the governor who can grant a stay of execution? The ones who turn their nose up and be like, no stay of execution. Like, how you sleep at night? Well, I know how some of them sleep at night because a black man's life is
exactly. It means absolute. Some people, it's no value to them. It means nothing, and it's sad to say, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's such a sad story. So many, like you said, men that aren't here or on death row that are innocent.
Well, let me go ahead and give people the background story for those who may not be familiar. Ledell Lee, he is a gentleman who was on death row for 22 years. And for 22 years, he proclaimed his innocence. They felt he was convicted of killing a woman, strangling and bludgeoning a 26-year-old woman to death in Arkansas. It was in some little suburb near Little Rock. For 22 years, this man maintained his innocence. Y'all, after 22 days, I'm going to be like, fuck it, I did it. Shit. All right, you got me. Now, when is lunch and when can I go outside to the yard?
But you know what? You say that, but
yeah,
you going to fight till you
no, I'm saying if I did it. You know what I'm saying? If I did it, but if I were innocent, I got you. If I were innocent, I'm never going to admit to doing something I didn't do, you know? And, I think in his final interview, because in his final interview, he still said, I just want everyone to know that I'm an innocent man, in his final interview. So the murder weapon was a wooden bat. Okay. I found out. Okay, let me just rewind. I'm all over the place. Okay. He maintained his innocence. Mm-hmm. He was executed. Mm-hmm. 4 years after he was executed, they actually decided to run DNA on the wooden bat, the murder weapon, and another man's DNA was on it.
Yeah, that's the part. I think that's the worst part of it all. Like, why it took so long to run the DNA?
Well, let me tell you why. Because number one, when a black man is accused of something, and yes, I am pulling the race card and I am spinning it in the air and I'm going to stick it to my forehead. When a black man is accused of something, the effort to prove his innocence always seems lackadaisical.
Yeah, that's true. True that. That's
he might be innocent. I mean, I don't know. We might test the murder weapon, but I do want to go to McDonald's later because they got they got the McRibs back. It's so crazy. There's no effort and trying to prove his innocence. None. Right. So his sister had to file a lawsuit in January to force the release of all the evidence in the case, as she linked up with the Innocence Project and the ACLU, and they were able to get this murder weapon tested that has someone else's DNA on it. Now, mind you, they were begging and pleading with Attorney General, Governor, whomever is in charge of this BS, to grant them a stay of execution, and the guys basically say it. And I'm not saying it verbatim, but I'm giving it to you hood verbatim. He already been sitting for long enough. Like, let's just go on and get it over with. The word that was used was delaying. We already been delaying this long enough. Yeah, basically, we delaying killing another black man. So let me go on and get to it. To add insult to injury, once the murder weapon was tested and another man's DNA was on it, do you know that the people in Arkansas are doubling down and was like, okay, so these new findings don't change my stance?
Yeah, that's just ignorant.
As of late, my prayer has been that for every person, including myself, Jesus, but kind of be kind with it, for anybody who is not compassionate to another person, group of people, in any situation, any way, shape, or form, I want that person to endure the same thing in some way, shape, or form. Point blank, period.
That would, oh my gosh, how nice that would be.
I don't need to see it, because my grandma said, when the Lord avenge for you all the time, you don't see it, but just know it's going to be taken care of. That man that got on the stand, and of course we were off the air when the Derek Chauvin trial was going on. We were off the air, but that man that got on the stand during the Derek Chauvin trial and said that he felt like Derek Chauvin putting his knee on George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes was not excessive force. It was necessary force. I'm gonna need him to catch a knee for 9 minutes. Yeah. Point blank, period. Yeah. That's the energy I'm on.
That's the thing and you know what? No, you have a really good point. And because people like that's the only way you'll ever get through to them. 9 minutes is a long time. I remember doing a march right after it. And what we did at the end was all we did was get on our knee for 9 minutes on the concrete. And Bestie, when I tell you just being on my knee, not a knee on my neck, like my knee, I was in pain. Like I was like, it was hard. It was like, gosh. And all you could do was like get emotional, because it was like, oh my gosh, somebody's knee was like on somebody's neck this long.
That's why he put his hands in his pockets. He was getting tired. That's why he was leaning back lifting his foot up off the ground. Like, it's so much. So I'm asking King Jesus that going forward, when people are so cruel to another group of people for any reason, ignorant to another group of people, if you decide that you want to go into a spa and just shoot up Asian people because that's what you feel like you need to do today, then I'm going to need somebody to roll up in your families. I don't necessarily want an eye for an eye, because it's going to become the OK Corral. I just need the Lord to touch on it. Like, boom.
But they get it. They do get it somehow, some way. If they don't, they're fit. The thing is, you might not, but your children and your grandchildren might, and that's where it gets deep.
Pay for the sins of the father.
Yeah, that's right.
So, that story just really, I'm going to try my best to keep up with it. But when I tell you, it broke my heart. And I think that story was probably one of the biggest stories that we've had on the site in a very, very long time, because it was one of those things where it's like the damage is done. And look how you can't fix that. You can't.
No, like it's impossible.
It's impossible to
even
rectify.
If you leave them the money, it's not. It's just even a civil, a lawsuit wouldn't even. You can't bring it back.
Absolutely. Oh, she knew. Said if I were him, I would have cursed the lineages of all that had something to do with my unjust execution. That's what I'm talking about. When they be like, "Do you have any last words?" Till you do right by everything you think about gonna fail.
No, that's right. Yes, for real.
I just would be like, that's all. That is all. Because sometimes no words need to be said. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
True
so that was a very, very sad story. And I definitely read more about it on icecreamconvos.com. This last story that I want to get into before we go ahead and head off the air. I've been telling y'all to stop doing it for the gram.
Oh, yeah.
Unless y'all doing TikToks. Because, I done figured it out. Draco showed you. Oh, this is my part.
Okay.
That's a little part right there. Unless you're doing TikToks, stop doing it for the gram. I have asked you guys, and I said AST because I don't use the K. I done asked y'all to stop humiliating your children on social media for likes and for comments. But apparently y'all not listening. And when I say y'all, I do not mean the ICC friends. I mean the other people who aren't listening, the hard-headed people. A Louisiana mom is facing felony charges.
And she should.
She was in jail last time I checked. She is facing felony charges because she decided to beat her 12-year-old daughter on Instagram.
Idiot.
And just why?
Idiot.
And are you teaching a parenting course? Are you teaching 101 ways to whoop this youngin'?
Yeah,
like what are you doing?
Right. What is the goal? What's the end goal to that?
But there are some people who still believe, and trust me, I was raised on you gonna get toe up where you act up. I was raised on that. If I cut the fool on aisle 4 in Woolworth, I took y'all back to Woolworth.
It doesn't make it right. Just because we grew on something doesn't make it right, though.
Yes.
Either. Like just because and that's what I think a lot of people can't detach. Like they can't separate.
Because a lot of bad behaviors in our families are passed down from generation to generation.
Absolutely. Because
even with me as a parent, I have 3 kids. My oldest is 29. My next will be 27 in July, and my baby 12. My oldest 2, as I evolved and grew, I remember how I felt after I got whoopings. And I remember thinking to myself, do these people love me?
Yeah.
And why I got to go
angry?
Why I got to wash my face, get in the car, and go get ice cream after you done tore me up, and I can't change out in gym because I got whelps on my legs from the switch. But now I got to go eat ice cream.
Oh damn!
I don't want no ice cream.
Right.
My nose already running. This ain't nothing but additional mucus. You done whooped the sin out of me.
Stupid. Right.
Why we got to go get ice cream? So anyway, with my oldest 2, I still was in that mentality of you act up, you gonna get cut up.
Right.
So. I believe in spanking, so I would tear their tails up, and then I would never forget the day they got to the point where they was too big for a whooping, but I didn't realize it, and I popped them, and they started laughing. That's when you want to be like, oh, we going now it's time for us to elevate to me just punching you in your chest.
Right.
But I'll never forget that day they laughed at me after I whooped them.
That's true.
I felt defeated. I was
because you are at that point.
You are. Because at this point now, all you can do is just try to threaten them. But anyway... so by the time I got to Destiny, my youngest, I'm like, I have evolved as a parent. And I'm like, listen, maybe there's a different way to handle parenting. Right. I have never whooped Destiny. I popped her one time and I cried 3 days and I was like, I'm not going to pop her no more.
Yeah.
So my oldest 2 be like, yo, you ain't gonna beat her. The oldest 2 like, yo, she gotta catch some of this fade for all the fade we call. But and it's like it's an evolution, and you have to try to evolve. And everything that your family does, whether it's normalized or not, it may not necessarily, and it's gonna be some people that be like, what you mean it's bad?
And if you think about it, it makes sense. We don't look at it because we don't know we're being molded when you're young, but violence begets violence. Like, and it's temporary. If you think about it, you beat a kid's ass. Okay, it works for that, but they usually go back to, it's not as effective as if you take something away from them that they may like. Every kid is different. Like some people be like, my kid need to be beat. Have you really tried every other option? Because most of the time they haven't. And I'm not.
You pulled my card.
Anti-spank, but yeah, I am.
You pulled my card because I said my middle girl need to be beat. Matter of fact, I might go downstairs and punch her in the face right now. She's 27. I just be sometimes. Some habits are hard to break. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Y'all don't know my story. Y'all don't know my story. But yeah, absolutely. Listen, as a parent, you have to learn what is most effective for your child. So I'm going to leave it at that because I don't believe in coming in your house telling you how to parent. But all I'm saying is don't ruin your child for them to come to my daughter's school and try to ruin her life. That's all I'm saying.
That's where I'm going with it. You understand what I'm
You
saying?
have to punish as you see fit for your child and do what's best for your child. I learned with her, all I had to do was give her the look of death.
Yeah. She's such an awesome kid though too.
I just look at her.
And you did, and that's it. And sometimes the bark is worse than the bite. Like some kids, some kids, if you raise your voice a certain way, you say so,
Yeah, so this woman beat her child on Instagram. So now she's sitting in jail. I try to tell y'all.
Yeah.
I try to tell y'all.
And it's in the same view she got all the likes and followers. See if they'll bail her ass out.
Okay. And that's my thing. Like, stop seeking validation on social media.
Yes, please. It's superficial. I don't know. That drives me crazy.
Especially as a grown woman. And stop humiliating your children. Y'all wonder why so many people need therapy right now. Y'all wonder why so many people are just out here screwing up the world.
Yeah.
Oh, this ghetto. I want to leave. Like, you just wonder why so many people are screwed up. It's because of what y'all did to them when they was kids or what people did to us when we were kids.
Trauma. Straight trauma. They don't get it.
Man, there was some things said and done to me as a kid that I'd be like, yo.
Me too. Especially on a verbal tip. I wasn't physically hit, but god damn, I wish I was hit at this point. Listen, your family members can say some stuff to you that you could be at the club, like, meet me at the club, it's going down, and you get your flashback and you be like, oh, why did she say that to me? That junk will come back and hit you. You dumb, because that's how it seriously, that's
absolutely.
It's trauma. That's trauma. You see what I'm saying?
Trauma. It is trauma. Yeah, and I think the Black community just, we as a whole, a lot of times we don't look at things as trauma. We just look at it as training up a child. And then, and my grandma was so ill with it, she would pull Bible verses out like, spare the rod, spoil the child. Like, maybe they meant show the rod to the child. Like, okay, this is a rod, and if you cut up, I'm gonna go upside your head with it. Okay. She had me thinking a switch was a rod, and in the Bible they said, like, wait, the Bible don't say nothing about switches. It says a rod.
Right, not a switch. You got me out here picking my own.
Think about the mental anguish of going to get your own switch off the tree.
In itself is abuse. Now, straight up, and I love. I'm not disrespecting nobody, but. Because now you got to think, you got to go pick the what. That's like somebody telling you, yo, I'm about to beat you or I'm about to shoot you. Go pick out which gun. Go pick out which gun I'm about to shoot you with. Be like, I heard the 22 has a better life expectancy. Is it a water gun around? A water gun. Come back with a super soaker. You didn't specifically say what type of gun to get. Right, exactly. But yes. Yeah. Having to go pick out your own belt. Then you wonder if it worked because look at you. Look how you turned out though. That's success. Yeah, let's really look at how I turned out. Let's examine how I turned out. Let's really examine that. Oh gosh, but yeah, you stop doing that, y'all. And we've seen it too many times. And she's just the one that we've seen that got arrested, but there have been many others. And I seen one time I seen a dad beating his 14-year-old daughter for having sex. Well, you're beating her. Isn't that going to make her run into the arms of the guy that she's probably having sex with? But that's what I'm saying. You got to know your kid and know if you're going to beat what you're beating for, I guess. Yeah. Good grief. Yeah. All right. Quick question. You think beatings... Never mind. Never mind. I'm going to ask you that off. No, I'm going to ask you off the air because I do not want us to get canceled the same day we get back.
Be like, ICC came
grand
back
opening,
on grand closing. Yeah, I don't want us to get canceled on the same day we come back. Nope,
we don't need that. Make sure you remember. I'm gonna remind you because I know it was something fun. Yeah, I already know you.
Oh, girl. All right. So, ICC friends, I think we are going to call this a show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much to She Knew. Thank you so much to Cook. Thank you so much to La Crystal. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in and kicked it with us tonight. Antoine, Melissa, thank you all so much.
Yes.
Sarah, yeah. So we had a nice squad. Tiara Rose, girl, we still praying for you, baby. We love you.
Yes.
Wilma, Macy, everyone who tuned in to this live taping of the ICC podcast. Just a quick reminder, all new episodes drop on DSPs every Tuesday morning, okay? But you can join us on Monday to kind of get this behind the scenes look and see how we actually take
what
these
our
episodes.
Craziness,
Yeah, and you could try to see Karla looking at me like, don't do it, girl, don't do it, Missy, don't do it. So I really enjoy us having this opportunity just to get that live interaction and free, just I don't know. I just love the live feedback. I just love it. I love
the chemistry of it, everything.
Absolutely. So we're going to do this every Monday.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, She. So we're going to get this every Monday. At 5:00, Lord willing. If the time should change, we will definitely let you know ahead of time. But just be sure to connect with us on Instagram. We are Ice Cream Convos Podcast. Yeah. We are Ice Cream Convos Podcast on Facebook as well. And Twitter. Yeah, Jack Dorsey gonna get that smoke. So with that being said, visit icecreamconvos.com every day for your delicious scoops of entertainment and celebrity news. Please subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen. Rate us and leave a comment. It helps us out a lot. And if you're watching or listening on YouTube, please subscribe and hang out with us a little bit, okay? All right, Karla, any parting words, girl? What you got?
Just honestly, I don't have much, but just the same one. Seriously, y'all, still, I know the vaccinations, it's millions of us that are already vaccinated. Still wear your mask. Still sanitize your hands. Anyone who's battling, recovering, I wish you a speedy recovery, and hopefully sometime soon we'll get back to the new normal, because it'll never be back to what we used to have.
It'll be the new normal.
Yeah. And thank y'all for tuning in, for coming back.
Yes,
I promise.
Absolutely.
We this is consistent.
Lord.
We got Zavi. Listen, we lucky.
What's that dance where the people be doing this? Listen, my baby she done taught me TikTok dances. Y'all can't tell me nothing.
Yes, y'all be killing it too. Yeah. Okay.
I wish I had boobs so I could get that little part like.
It's time to wrap it.
It's time to wrap it. Okay, all right. So, all right. Love you guys. ICC.
Love y'all. We all we got.